In the summer of 2006, over 80 young women from 77 counties across the Black Belts of Alabama, Southwest Georgia, and the Mississippi Delta came to the historic campus of Tougaloo College to attend the UNITA Blackwell Young Women's Leadership Institute, presented by the Southern Rural Black Women's Initiative for Economic and Social Justice. They were joined by mentors, workshop leaders, artists, real-world professionals, SRBWI leaders, and organizers. They were inspired by the spirit and the presence of UNITA Blackwell, a freedom fighter and civil rights hero. They came to listen, and they came to talk. They came to Tougaloo to learn from one another and to learn to give back to each other. For 5 days in July, they all came together to honor their heritage, to expand their horizons, and to explore the possibilities of their futures. A welcome to the Institute was held in the beautifully restored Woodworth Chapel.
We want to talk about all of these things and bring these things forward and to talk about them in a human rights frame over the course of the next 4 days.
This institute illustrates the ultimate responsibility that each one of you has to contribute your portfolio of gifts, abilities, and knowledge to further the rights of all people.
You might go in to that chapel and hear Martin Luther King or Robert Kennedy or Fannie Lou Hamer. You might do as I did one night, stand out under the trees crossing arms with other young people and singing "We Shall Overcome."
Tougaloo College is known as the cradle of the civil rights movement in Mississippi. It became the safe haven and refuge during the turbulent 50s and 60s when people who came to Mississippi and Mississippians and civil rights workers were working on behalf of change in Mississippi. When they knew that when they came to the gates of Tougaloo College and entered those, they could find safety and refuge.
Workshops planned for the Institute began in earnest. Sessions were structured to allow the workshop leaders and guest panelists to speak to all the girls together. Then smaller discussion groups would break out to talk with each other, their mentors, and with the guest speakers who would rotate around the room. Then everyone would come back together to report out about the workshop they had just shared.
My name is Erica Nolan from Auburn, Georgia. Well, in our group, what I've been getting out of it so far, like I just said, a lot of respect. Everybody is, being real. You see everybody paying attention, taking in what everybody is saying.
Workshop content was topical and relevant.
As far as the general impact on hip hop, it's in how we dress, it's in how we speak, it's how we see ourselves, and this is basically the crux of what we're talking about. Hip hop is a lens through how you see yourself, and you got to realize that images that you're seeing aren't reality based anyway.
Is going to have to take a stock and inventory amongst themselves and decide what each of you want to do with your life. Trina's not going to decide it for you. Lil' Kim is not going to decide it for you. Kamikaze's not going to decide it for you.
It's really that simple. You have to know what reality is, and you have to know what fantasy is. These women are trying to portray something, they're selling sex.
I think our music have a lot of impact on our kids now, the TV shows they watch, and if it's not reinforced at home to know this is just entertainment, this is just, they're trying to sell something, this is not life.
If we keep pushing them away and downrating everything they do, then we're going to do just what the world wants us to do, give them to them. And we have to be patient and loving and reminded that, girl, you wore that. And you wore it when mama told you not to wear it. So
when we talked about hip hop, that was a really big thing. I felt as though it was a really needed discussion, especially in our case of how, as women, we're usually the main target and how we are disrespected mostly. And so I figured that was a really good thing because we learn how to, even when we listen to it, we know that that's not us and we don't have to be that way.
The young women attending the Institute got some very straight talk from health professionals they could both trust and aspire to become.
You'll be able to ask us questions, we'll have open discussions, no holds barred. You can ask us anything, okay?
And just watching that and listening and taking it all in, thinking we have a group of girls that can do anything they choose to do. And some of them really know that, and some of them are learning that for the first time.
I like being able to help people, finding ways in which, making the medical field better so everybody won't have to worry about whether they're able to have health care. They'll have somebody there who can help them.
Learning to express yourself physically can connect you to your heritage and to your present-day self.
Why we gyrate our hips, but you need to know why, not that it's sexual, that there's really something deeper than that, and it should come from that place. The dances are dances of fertility, dances of harvest, and paying homage to your body, not saying shake it and here it is, come get it.
Ready, and middle, up, down, high, middle, up. 1, 2, good job. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 5, 6.
One of the most enjoyable workshops showcased the skills needed to be an entrepreneur in the fashion industry, which unleashed a torrent of creativity. Throughout the Institute, an advanced video and digital filmmaking track was taking place. It wasn't all work and no play at Tougaloo that week. There was music and dancing, lots of laughter, and just plain fun. Workshops delve deep into the heart of the major issues that these young women still face today.
I think that you can see in just the past 4 days a real change and in these women, whether it's a spiritual change, whether it's a real education, they're learning something they've never been able to experience before.
Spirituality is the origin and the basis of who we are as a people anyway. So when you have spirituality and a culture, you know who you are, and when you know who you are, you're able to make a difference in the community.
We're trying to provide these young women with an opportunity that will let them see what they can do to be a part of changing the world.
Recognizing the resources available to each young woman found within her own community and within herself was invaluable.
But first of all, I started with myself. I was my most valuable asset.
Go forth, be bold, make change.
By continuing to work with and give these young women the opportunities and the experiences and the ability to sit with each other and discuss these issues, that they will, like I did, grow into young women who will start participating in government and participating in their communities and saying, we want our human rights. We know what our rights are and we want them.
Unita Blackwell is a figure of the civil rights movement. She marched and she fought and she showed courage to use her resources, her influence within her community, and just this pure courage of her convictions to bring about change.
It was the morning of the closing ceremony. They listened as Unita Blackwell spoke.
But I am your history for the young people who are your education institution.
Well, I was raised up with a grandmother, and she always said, my mother's mother You got to, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And she says, our lives is we got nothing to know how. What we got to lose? But our lives, just stand up, say what you have to say. Tell the truth. God loves the truth.
They honored those who had blazed the path for freedom and independence for all women. Throughout all the activities, the vision and the determination to serve these young women never wavered.
What we do is we give them the tools and they start peeling back the stuff. All of this stuff that's in their life, all of this hurt, all of this neglect, all of this miseducation, all of this worthlessness, and they start peeling that stuff back, and behold, there's a gem inside of them. And they see that gem, and it's not us. We just give them the tools. And once they see it, they're grateful that someone cared enough to spend that time with them to show them, girl, don't you know there's a ruby, a diamond, an emerald, a sapphire in you? If you would just tend the mind, if you just dig, if you just take all that stuff out, take it out. If you keep digging, you're gonna find that gem. And that's what we do at SRP.
They said their goodbyes and then they headed home, better prepared to make a real difference in their own communities and in their own lives.